welcome to another segment of How You Been, the Comcats podcast segment. I am one of your hosts today, Dean Gossett Jr., joined by my co-host,
Kaeshon King.
And our guest today is
Destin Hudson.
All right, and we hope you enjoy this episode and follow and share, I guess.
So, Destin, how you been?
Yeah, I've been pretty good. You know, ever since graduating, I've just been kind of picking up on my music. I was a music major here, graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Music. And from there, I've just been kind of studying my craft. When I first got here, I always knew I wanted to do music. I just wasn't sure what in music I wanted to do. But then I believe it was my first semester here. I was in voice concentration, but then I took one class in keyboard studio. And from there, I just knew I fell in love with piano. So I just kind of switched over from voice concentration to piano concentration.
So what exactly is voice concentration exactly what it sounds like singing or specifically anything else besides that?
So yeah, basically it's just training my voice, learning how to sing, mainly being in the choir there. I was in the AU choir all 4 years here. And basically it was just training on my voice, which I still did because I was in the choir, but it was just, instead of having more classes in voice concentration, it was just during the choir I would practice that, but then I would mostly go to my piano concentration classes.
What are you? Position in the choir, out of curiosity?
I'm a tenor.
Oh, sweet.
What is a tenor for those people who don't know?
So when you're talking about the different voices in the choir, you got your basses, which are your very low voices, the very bottom voices. Then you got your tenors, which are that mid-range. Then you got your altos, which are usually going to be like your mid-high voices. And then you got the sopranos, which would be the highest voices.
Okay.
So do you feel like AU helped you get towards your goal mainly? What is your goal?
So my goals kind of changed around a bit, but I feel like my goal is, at this point, I want to build a productions company that kind of encompasses a bunch of different, arts and media. Because when I got here, it was mainly I was focused on music. I really wanted to do music, and I knew I wanted to do music, which I still do. But I also developed a love for some other arts here as well, like photography. I got into doing photography as well. Bought my first camera using some of my refund checks from here. Got my first camera, just started going around campus, taking pictures of the different sceneries, trees, different things like that. And I also got into video production and editing. I wanted to get into that as well. So
you should have told me that, because I could have helped you with that, bro. I am the video guy. You're the music guy. See, we could have collabed.
I mean, we still can.
I actually I actually really like music too. The intro and outro music for this podcast I made.
Really?
Yeah. And for my other podcast, for those of you that don't know, I do another podcast called Riffs and Revelations, also filmed here at Augusta University. Check it out. But no, I do the music for all the podcasts I'm on because I've never got into it to a degree where I could say, yeah, I want to make money off of it, but it's a fun hobby. It's really fun. It's really freeing. And I think it's one of the better forms of art that you can pick up, because I am terrible with most instruments. Do you play anything besides keyboard?
So I tried to play guitar at one point. Didn't kind of pan out. But I don't blame you. I do plan on going back though. I do still have my guitar, and I mess around with it every now and then. But most of that is just going to be kind of self-taught. So it'll probably be, I'm still on my journey with my piano. So
I've always wanted to try to learn the keyboard, but it's, in my mind, it's the guitar, but worse. Not worse than it's like a terrible instrument, but worse in trying to learn it.
Fun fact, when I was in, I want to say 4th grade, I used to play violin.
You used to play violin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what went wrong?
Honestly, I just kind of stopped going. I don't know why I stopped going, honestly, because it gave me a reason to get out of class. And, every elementary kid, they don't want to be in class. They don't want to be at school in general.
I'll be honest. I got too much just jealousy in my heart. If I see a child playing a violin, I just get mad. I was like, "What's going right in your life? How dare you?"
See, looking back on it, I don't even know how I was able to even play violin, but I feel like I was going kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
I like it.
Maybe I should pick it back up.
I actually did do violin when I was in elementary school.
You people suck.
Maybe that was the elementary instrument.
It was.
What elementary school did you go to?
Winds of Spring.
Sue Reynolds.
I wasn't playing any instrument till middle school.
Actually, I went
and they
to
put me on oboe.
So who would you say are some of your biggest musical influences?
It might sound a little cliche, but the people I find myself most inspired by are J. Cole,
Good choice.
Kendrick Lamar,
Okay choice.
Drake,
Of course.
A choice.
and this one might be a little weird, but Jamie Foxx.
That's not. Listen, his discography is so much better than because everyone just sees the actor, right? Mm-hmm. No one talks about his music career.
Right.
It is insane.
You're probably the first person I've ever heard say that in general, that Jamie Foxx is on their list. That's just very, I don't know, it's kind of crazy.
Because Jamie, when I think about Jamie, like you said, his discography is crazy. His him on features. Every time you hear him on the feature, that song automatically blows up. Like on the way here, I was listening to slow jams the whole time.
I think it was what was it? Childish Gambino blew up, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's an actor, singer, comedian. Like this is insane." And I feel like I was one of the only people in my friend group that was like, "You guys know Jamie Foxx has been doing this for like
Years."
I mean, we even got Hugh Grant, the guy who played Dr. House and was part of a comedy duo with Stephen Fry in the UK. He's been doing blues and jazz since like the 90s. But I don't know why. Jamie Foxx and him just never blew up.
Music is not the same anymore, honestly, to me personally.
You boomer.
I'm just being honest. So what, you still feel like...
I feel here's something that might be a hot take. There is still great music being made today by independent artists. You just have to look for them.
Facts.
You have to look for them on like YouTube
Makes sense.
and Twitter and like check out like the music side of TikTok because they're not necessarily going to be on Spotify or Bandcamp or even SoundCloud. I don't even hunt for new music on SoundCloud anymore. It has gotten awful. The one place I will say that the music's gotten worse is just SoundCloud in general, because anyone with an editing program thinks that they can just do music, which you can. You can. It just might not be good.
Most of the new artists I find, I'm scrolling on Instagram and I hear them sound in the background. I'm like, what's this sound? Who's this song by? And then I just immediately just pick it up and I just start listening to their discography.
It's so much fun. So I have a question for you. About your career. You are a music teacher, correct?
Yes, I am.
Where do you teach?
So I'm a piano instructor at Guitar Center. And I just started this year. So this is my first year actually teaching piano. So it's a little bit of a learning gap. So I'm just kind of getting used to teaching. I teach ages from 5 all the way up to my age. So it's a big gap in between. I'm trying to figure out how to differentiate my teaching styles by age group.
And are you having fun with that? Is teaching something that interests you for a long time, or is it something you just kind of fell into?
For now, it's just kind of like a stepping stone till I get to my next point. I want to get into eventually teaching in a school as a way to kind of get me somewhere where I can be using my talents in music to earn me some income. As I said before, my main goal, is the production company, but this is my fallback.
So since you started teaching piano, when have you come across any type of challenges, I guess particularly with the kids, or I don't know, maybe they learn a little slower, or do they learn faster than us?
It kind of varies. The little ones I'm teaching, they're twins. So they're both in the room at the same time. So it's kind of
cute.
It is. They're adorable, but they're kind of shy. So trying to get them to interact with the lessons is a bit of a challenge. Especially the young, well, not the youngest one, but the boy, he's really, really shy. So when I try to teach him kind of what I taught his sister, he understands it, and I can tell that he's picked it up really well. It's just that him trying to actually play it in front of me, he gets really shy. Aww. So I have to be more patient with him and kind of take more time with him than I did with his sister.
And the girl's just over there slamming keys.
She loves to play.
Oh, and how old are they?
They're 5.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy that they're playing instruments at 5 years old.
I just taught my nephew. He just turned 6, and I just taught him how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Aww, that's so cute. I love kids. I absolutely adore kids.
Yeah.
So, have you had any type of live performance, and do you have one that kind of like sticks out to you?
So I actually, at the Arts and the Hearts here, I've performed at the last 4 or 5, maybe a skip in the year between one of those. But I usually perform at Arts and the Heart with the band Major Sound, which is a band owned by my brother. And we do a lot of things. We're probably going to perform at Arts and the Heart again this year. And we have a lot of stuff coming up in terms of like projects, singles, things like that.
Have you ever done open mics before?
I haven't done any open mics.
Okay, because what you were saying, I almost could have sworn I've heard that band do an open mic at Joe's.
They might have. They do perform in a lot of places. I don't always perform with them, but they do get around the CSRA a lot.
I'll have to go to Arts and the Hearts this year.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Same. If you could listen to one album for the rest of your life, like you just had to pick one.
I think we all have to answer this, but you're the guest. You go first.
One album for the rest of my life. If I ponder this for too long, I'm never going to come to an answer. But the first album that popped into my mind was J. Cole's 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
You got one?
That was the one I was debating on, either that one or Good Kid, Mad City from Kendrick. But
I think we got slightly different music tastes at this table.
Probably so.
Mine is a mix-up between Demon Days by Gorillaz or, his name, the Igor by Tyler, the creator.
Yeah.
When I listened to all of Igor all the way through, dude, it made my brain leak out my ears. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then you got the underdog story of him taking out we're the best music. I forget the guy's name.
DJ Khaled.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm finally forgetting his name.
He used to be on almost every commercial.
Everywhere.
The worst thing that's happened to music, especially hip hop and rap in like the last 10 years, is every producer in the world wanting to yell their tag at the beginning of their songs like it's an Xbox lobby. It's awful.
And now all you hear now is God did, which I would never, I admire it. This is the one thing I like from DJ Khaled because
this is the most emotion I've seen from you in a while.
I mean, it blew up. The God did blow up, but
I felt the passion coming out there for a second.
Right.
Let's see. So I have a question for you. You're a musician, and one of the questions I like asking musicians a lot, is there any, let's say, music that you particularly just don't enjoy? Because I can tell pretty much right now that you're a pretty big hip hop head, right? Is there any music or genre that is just like, I don't, bleh.
The only music I can say that I just really couldn't listen to at all is just heavy metal rock.
I thought you were going to say country, and I'm so glad that's not the answer.
No, because I've listened to some country before. I can do country. But just the heavy, like the screaming heavy metal rock, I can't do it.
I can't do it either, unless it's like at a very particular party. And it's the vibe of the night, in which case I'm like 2 miles from the speakers, probably talking to somebody else.
Yeah, like if you go through my playlist and just kind of hit shuffle, you'll switch from hip hop, going to country, going to R&B, jazz, classical, just all sorts of music.
Do you have a favorite classical song?
I do. My favorite classical piece is La Campanella by Franz Liszt.
Ooh.
I love that piece so much. And because when I was here, I was in a studio class. It was more like a recital. And on Fridays, we usually have it where the students will get together and play the pieces that they've been rehearsing the whole week. And we had this one student. He wasn't even a music major. He was probably like, I think he was nursing program or he was in the some kind of the healthcare program. And
sometimes they'll shock you.
Blew my mind. The piece is supposed to be an extremely difficult piece because the way Franz Liszt piece worked, they're mainly like for teaching, but the way he teaches is like off the charts. Like he teaches people like in the same level with his pieces. They're hard, but they're meant to be teaching pieces, which is crazy. So this piece is one of a very difficult piece when you're actually learning and playing it. he took this piece on all by himself and decided to do it.
No.
And this piece is actually a piece that I think is like not mainly meant for piano, but I think it's kind of like
Harpsichord?
Not harpsichord, but I think they do it like with like an orchestra type piece or something like that. And he did the piece on piano, learned how to play it himself, and the way like I just saw his hands jumping from the bottom of the keyboard all the way to the top of the keyboard, like in an instance. It blew my mind. I was like, how do you play pieces like that? So I've always wanted to learn how to play that piece myself. And that piece has quickly become my favorite classical piece of all time.
How's that process going? You trying to learn that song?
So I'm not learning that song at the moment, but I am learning multiple other pieces. I mainly learn...
Your basics are staying solid because you teach.
Yeah.
The best way to learn is to teach.
I've heard that a lot too. For a while, I was kind of afraid to teach because I wasn't sure if I could really get the ideas out in a thorough way that people could understand it and learn from it. But my piano teacher told me you're ready. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So I really just kind of did that. But in terms of me learning pieces, I'm a big anime fan. So
okay.
Top 3 anime.
Top 3 anime.
Ooh.
This is an easy one for me. So number
This is
one,
an amazing podcast episode.
I gotta hear this one.
so number one all time anime is 86. I don't know if y'all ever heard that one before.
I haven't.
I have heard of. I have not watched.
86 to me is probably one of the greatest anime I've ever seen or witnessed. It's about like a country that kind of forced its colored people, in a sense, to fight in this war against these machines that was made by this other country that used them to fight, but the machines obviously rebelled, killed that country, and now they're just at war with those machines that are trying to take over the rest of humanity. Now these people, they don't want to fight themselves, so they send the colored people to fight them, and all those parents of those people die, so now it's just the kids fighting. And the kids, they start fighting at like age 13 or below.
Jeez.
And they're in these like mech spiders, and they're just all fighting these, they call them the Legion. And it's just about the ones in that kind of survive for 4 years. They're like the elites. They're usually supposed to die before that time because many don't survive that long. But if they survive, they get sent to the Spearhead Squadron. And this is about the journey for that Spearhead Squadron throughout this process.
So what's your... All right, next top 2. You gotta give me some.
We'll rapid fire these.
Got you. So 86, number one. Probably say Vivi is probably my second. Vivi Florida song.
He's throwing.
He's doing deep cuts, dude.
I just knew you were gonna say mainstream.
This man has never bought an edition of Shonen Jump. This is like the deep cuts.
This is crazy. Usually somebody will say Naruto offer up or
I don't watch Naruto.
Dragon Ball offer up.
You're correct. You're correct in that opinion. I tried to watch it on Toonami, and then I was like, oh man, but I just like other things much, much more.
There's so many good anime out there that people have never heard of before. Some that only have one season, just the best season ever.
I think the problem is that shonen is just such a prevalent genre in anime that's all people think about when they think of anime. And you have like shows that are more slice of life and fun. My first anime that wasn't a shonen was Ouran High School Host Club, and I had so much fun watching that. It was so you've seen it, right?
The name doesn't sound too familiar.
I know you didn't just say 86 and you don't know Ouran. I know that that's not what
He skipped the mainstream. Just went, this little interesting. He just picked it out.
Literally. That's literally what I did. I just did my own thing. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Do you have a favorite one that's did you say your third one?
So my third one is Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai.
What is that? What is that? Who is giving you these recommendations?
It's just stuff I found.
Where? So on the ground?
Clearly it wasn't Crunchyroll.
It's on Crunchyroll. It's on Crunchy. All these are on Crunchy.
This man's slapping the keyboard to find his anime on Crunchyroll and just like, bunny girl.
So when I saw it a couple times before while I was scrolling through, just trying to figure out what to watch. When I first saw it, the art for the show, it was a girl in a bunny girl outfit. I was like, it's weird. I don't want to watch that.
I know you didn't think that was weird. I know
I
you
did.
did. I know that wasn't the first thought.
It was the first thought. I was like, I don't want to watch that. I just don't want to watch that. It's not my type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a clip online on Instagram, and there was a show, and I was like, it looks really interesting. And then I found out that it was actually Bunny Girl Senpai. So I was like, this show turns into this. It looks way deeper than what the cover actually says it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a chance on it, watched it, and it blew my mind away. 12 episodes, really short. It's got 3 movies now. And it's a really good show. Just about, it's called Adolescent Syndrome, which is basically over dramatization of what maybe like high schoolers go through or just adolescents go through. And it takes their problems and their stress and gives it like a supernatural type of setting. So it makes it kind of, so say if somebody wanted to kind of disappear, they kind of wanted to stay in the background, didn't want to be around others, they would literally be invisible to everybody else.
Okay, so hopping back to the music, if you had to teach, let's say somebody like me, somebody who's never done music or anything at all, just one piece of advice, what would you give me?
I would say, don't give up. If it's really what you want to do, you'll put in the time and you'll put in the effort and you'll keep going. It may be points where you kind of stop, but just don't give up. Just keep pushing forward.
Truly inspirational.
All right, everyone. Well, that is your episode of. Oh my God! I'll cut
Really?
it. I really forgot that fast.
Really? I'll give you one guess.
Oh, how you?
There you go, bud.
Here has been your segment on How You Been on the Comcats podcast. I'm your host, Kaeshon King, with my other host,
Dean Gossett Jr.
and our guest.
Destin Hudson.
And I do have a disclaimer to read. The opinions stated are those of the guests and students, not Augusta University. The podcast is a result of an assignment for COM 3340. Simone Cummings is the producer. Brianna Law is the editor. This podcast was recorded in University Hall's Television and Cinema Lab on the Somerville campus of Augusta University.